Greetings out there in YouTube land. This is Morris, man, and as always, I thank you guys for coming to my channel. Today I'm going to touch on this topic, be relevant. And what I mean by that is put yourself in a position where your goods or your services are needed or in demand. Because I'm going to try to keep this positive, and please by no means take this as negative. It's just the reality of things, and we need to understand the reality of things and not be in the fantasy world or in denial. Because I get a lot of people that see me on my channel, throughout the city, and they say, hey, could you teach me how to play like Jimi Hendrix? I said, well, there's two problems with that. One, that you'll never become a Jimi Hendrix because there was only one Jimi Hendrix. Two, and I hate to say this, and please don't take it as negative because it's not. Jimi Hendrix experience is outdated. I mean, that was the 60s. This is 2015. That's like the equivalent of somebody waiting around for Vaudeville to come back. It's not coming back. So you need to focus on the present and what's going to be the future, as opposed to I'm living in a retro world. Because guess what? The people that enjoy Jimi Hendrix music, like myself and older people, we're getting older, we're dying off. So these people are not going to concerts. They're not going to clubs so they can see you play, because that's the other problem. If you do acquire these types of Jimi Hendrix skills or some type of retroactive artist, not just necessarily Jimi Hendrix, where are you going to play? What venue is going to house this music? I can count on one hand in the city of Chicago and New York that still have clubs that kind of play that type of music, but again, I know when you first start to learn how to play guitar, you're not thinking about that. And it's understandable, but the reality is at some point in time, you want to get paid, because you're devoting a lot of time to this craft, meaning that you could be somewhere doing a 9 to 5 and bringing home consistent money to pay bills and take care of your family, as opposed to you're focusing on this and you're giving this a lot of your time, so it's taken away from that time. So at some point in time, you want to be able to support yourself and your family with your craft. And you can't do that with something that's outdated and there's no demand. I mean, if it was up to me in Morris Man world, I go back to the 80s and stay, because I love that synthesized era. I love those sound textures and being able to stack different synthesized sounds and create your own sound. So I long for those days, but I know that those days are not coming back. So it would not be in my best interest to focus on trying to learn and keep playing all that stuff when I don't have a place to play it. Now, if you're just somebody that, got a regular 9 to 5 and you just like playing music from your era, that's fine. I mean, that's wonderful. But I'm talking about you musicians that are trying to make a living out of this, or at some point in time trying to make a living out of this. You need to know the reality of the situation, and the reality is you got to stay current. You can't be, I think I'm going to be Jimi Hendrix, because that was a whole different era, a whole different political, social climate, and it's not of today. So, you got to think about what's going on right now and what could be going on in the future. Because a lot of times the present kind of tip you off as far as what's going to happen in the future. And I can make a bunch of guesses and observations or analysis, and they may not even be accurate or true, so therefore I won't. But I thought it was important to do a video like this for you young folks, that you need to be aware of the reality of things. Because here's something interesting, and I'm going to try my best to not make this or divulge any identities. I'm just going to tell you a story. I ran into some people that know that I do what I do, and they said, could you help me? I have a friend who, is a good singer, and they was just almost on this particular TV show, talent show. And this particular person is like in their 50s or 60s, and my first impression or thought was, why is somebody at that age and that stage of their life thinking that they're going to get a record contract? Because, again, here's the reality, and I'm talking from experience in the music industry. You can get signed at 19 or 20, and you can reach 30 years old, and they're going to most likely try to get rid of you because they figure you're getting old. We got these new people coming in, and we got a new fan base, a new audience base, so you becoming outdated. So they try to get rid of you even when you already been in the business and proven your talent. Now, the reality of you coming in at 35 or 45 or 55 is just very unrealistic. Most likely it ain't going to happen, But, I didn't have the heart to tell these people that, this is the reality of the business. You missed the boat. It's plain and simple. The music industry is very youth oriented. There are a handful of people that you can count on one hand that's been around for 30 years, like a Prince or Madonna, but that's atypical. That's not the norm. So some of us just don't realize, the situation at hand. And you try not to be the bearer of bad news because I'm, by just nature, I'm a very positive person. I don't like raining on nobody's parade. I don't like giving bad news. But again, you have to be, you know, aware of, again, the reality at hand. And there are just some things that it's over. It's never coming back. If it has a quick surge, it's going to leave quicker than when it was in vogue. So I think it's important, for me to convey this to the young people that's inspiring to, do some things. Don't look back. The present and the future was this way, not this way. The 60s is over. Jimi Hendrix was an unbelievable guitar player. That was a wonderful time in music. Because when people ask me, what was your favorite era of music? Hands down, the 60s. And really so much the 80s. The 70s was good, but I was at a certain age and I was hearing a lot of stuff that was not upbeat and positive. That's just my personal experience. The 70s was, stumbling, falling, learning type of era for me. But, I came into my own because I was becoming a young man and being able to acquire my own things in the late 70s, early 80s. So that's why the 80s is near and dear to me. And then I grew up on 60s music. So, again, that's why, I have a soft spot or a part, a part of my heart, that goes out to that type of music in that era. But again, I'm not going to, continue or ramble here. But the point I'm making is be realistic, focus on the present and the future. You can't resurrect a dinosaur because they're not coming back. They're dead and they're gone. So you have to keep moving on. So take that energy and enthusiasm that you have and put it towards something that's going to be for the present and for the future, just close future. So on that note, I'm signing off, and I hope that this video makes some sense. So take care. Thanks for watching.